back to push to talk.
Welcome everybody to the Toku Portal Podcast, and this is Zero here. Today we're doing something a little different. We're talking about Spider-Man Homecoming. That's the newest Spider-Man movie, if you've lost track, because they keep remaking these every once in a while. And today with me I have...
Rye?
And I don't think I've actually been on a stream before. It's Slider.
If you're wondering why we're talking about Spider-Man, one reason is that back in the 70s, Japan actually had a live-action Spider-Man show.
Also, why the heck not?
Also, we love Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man's pretty awesome.
Such a good movie.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, Japan actually had a Spider-Man show in the 70s. Basically, it because it had a giant robot that kind of actually helped bring in like the giant genre to tokusatsu, which helped with Super Sentai adding the giant robot stuff because
Well, if
like
I
we had
remember
the first.
correctly, wasn't like Battle Fever J
Yes.
Marvel Cross as well?
Yes,
Well,
it was
Marvel
supposed to be
production?
Avengers.
Was it really?
Yes,
Did not
yes,
know
that's why you have Captain Japan, like Miss America, and like Cossack, and
Kozak.
basically, yeah, right.
France.
Sorry, France, yeah.
Cossack and
even though-
Kozak. Like, there are two that have very similar names.
Yeah. Basically, Spider-Man happened, and then they wanted to continue like their Marvel licensing thing, because weirdly enough, like Ishinomori and Toei and stuff, um, yeah, like Toei and Ishinomori and stuff actually had like a lot, especially like Japan. Weirdly enough, at that time had like a lot of influence. Like it's always sort of had like influence from the U.S. and stuff. Like the early like anime industry and stuff was really Disney inspired, and like the early tokusatsu was kind of, some of their own theater stuff. Also like King Kong and stuff, or like Godzilla, but like they couldn't do the stop motion because it'd be too time consuming and expensive, so they just put a guy in a suit, and that's why Godzilla. um and then for like comics and stuff, that's why there's like Japanese Batman, Japanese Spider-Man, because at that time there was a lot of cultural cross
Wait.
pollination
Back
and
up a
stuff.
second.
Sure.
Japanese Batman?
Yeah, there's
believe
a
it.
manga. Yeah. In like a couple of years ago, they had like the Batman Inc. storyline, which is like, Batman, like Bruce Wayne's like, I can't fucking fight all the crime by myself, so he like gave other people the ability to fight crime by making them Batman around the world. And like he starts off by going to like Japan and is like, yeah, Japanese Batman used to exist, but like his arch nemesis killed him, so they needed a new one. Yeah, it's like a manga series. It's in like trade paperback form, like all of it's collected. um
If manga
as
Batman sounds weird to you, try looking up manga Shakespeare.
That sounds terrifying.
Dude, Romeo x Juliet is a thing, and that's an anime that came out a couple years ago. um but as for coming back to Spider-Man, like, yes, they had like the Spider-Man license sort of thing, but like the story for Japanese Spider-Man is totally different from normal Spider-Man, because basically he's like more of a spirit of vengeance type thing. Like basically he's V3, right? Kamen Rider V3 or Kamen Rider X, more than he's Spider-Man. Like he has the costume, he has the webbing, and like the wall climbing and stuff, but like he kind of fucking kills people, like because he's fighting like an evil like alien empire or something. Yeah, whatever. It's interesting. Like Marvel used to have like all the episodes on their website for a bit, but then it got taken down because I guess like Toei is like, no, this is our copyright or something. Like basically Toei did something, and like Marvel had to take their shit down, which is weird because like you think like Marvel owns Spider-Man, but like copyright's weird. So I guess they had like a falling out or something. And that's why it's kind of hard to find Japanese Spider-Man, but like it's the internet. Look, you'll find it. Um, right. But because Japanese Spider-Man had like the giant robot thing, and like the first two Sentai don't have that, or at least I don't think they do.
They
But Battle
don't.
Fever does. Yeah, Battle Fever does because the guys who worked on Japanese Spider-Man, like the Toei crew, then went on to that show, and so they had like all this, like it was a learning project for them. So like they learned like it's always good to have like backups or easily exchangeable model parts, or like how important stock footage and stuff like this is, because like that's sort of why like Japanese Spider-Man's mech never loses. It's because like one, that suit got damaged, so they had to rely a lot more on stock footage, so it always just shows up and it wins. um, that's why in like the Spider-Verse comics, which was like a recent Spider-Man crossover thing, like it shows up, like weirdly it loses, but like when they rebuild it, it never loses again. So I'm like, yeah, I guess that's a way to homage its power, but like realistically, it should not have lost. Um, and one last bit, for like, hey, what the hell does Japanese Spider-Man have to do with this? Let's just tie it back into the real world. So, Toei made Japanese Spider-Man. They also made Kamen Rider. The actor for Kamen Rider Drive, which was two Kamen Rider 2 seasons ago, the show. Like the lead actor went to, I guess, like Japanese Comic Con, and he met Stan Lee, and like there's this awesome picture of them together. But he asked like Stan Lee is like, "Hey, I'm a really big fan of these Marvel movies. Like, can you make get me into one of them?" I'm like, Stanley doesn't really have that power, but like, and then like all the Tokusatsu fans were like, "Holy shit, just make him Japanese Spider-Man. He would be perfect." And then we were joking. It's like, yeah, he would be perfect because he's one of the three Kamen Riders who drives a car. The rest of them have bikes. Like Drive has a car as his primary. RX has one, but it's like not his primary, so he doesn't count. And Kamen Rider 3, not to be confused with V3, was a bad guy, so like that doesn't count. That would be a perfect fit. And then coming back all the way around to random Spider-Man talk to this new one,
which was amazing.
just came out. Seems to be pretty solid. What did you guys think of it?
He was really good.
I really enjoyed this movie. Where are we going to actually start, though?
We're talking now. So I was gonna start with like just your overall thoughts of what did you think of this movie, and how did you think it compared to the other two sets? Because you can't really call them trilogies because one's 3 movies, one's 2.
So, disclaimer: I have never actually seen the third Raimi film / McGuire.
Oh, you don't need to.
I'm just saying, I haven't seen that one. I've seen like every other one, just not that one.
Yeah, I mean it's not terrible, but it's nothing great. It's basically padding.
Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire has it has a few problems with it. One of them being their portrayal of Sandman, especially since they tried to tie him into being the one that killed Uncle Ben, which was really weird. And then just the way that they introduced Venom didn't really flow very well. I'm not saying that was entirely bad, it's just it could have been done a bit better. Overall, you didn't really
Yes.
miss much.
Yeah, Spider-Man 3 kind of had like too many ideas going at once, and none of them ended up being good. Like they're okay, but that's the best they get. They're passable, and it just kind of becomes like a muddy okay movie. But what did you think of the other ones, Rye?
So I didn't actually watch the Andrew Garfield movies, but from what I understand, he made an okay Peter Parker, but he did make a pretty good Spider-Man, if not an overly arrogant one.
Yeah, valid assessment.
What did you think of the movie Slider?
The new one.
No, I mean like all of them.
Uh,
Like, what did you think of the
for some
Tobey
reason,
Maguire movies?
see, I haven't seen this in so long. I don't really remember them. I really don't see why people hate on the Garfield ones because I really did like those. I'm just really disappointed about the Garfield ones. Are gone because they were setting up the Sinister Six, and
That
they
might
can't.
still happen.
Yeah, that might still happen.
Well, the thing is Spider-Man, this new one, had the biggest second week box office drop in the MCU. After almost 10 years, it dropped 61% in its second week in box office.
I mean, it could just be other movies too. What do you think? Planet of the Apes,
Possibly.
potentially. I mean, there it is. Like potentially, like it's decent. Like the thing is, it's a good movie. It's not. Oh my god, you have to rush out and see this amazing Spider-Man movie. Where it's like, yeah, it's good, but
I
like
get it.
it's good in the middle of like a lot of good movies right now. So it's like, like the buzz isn't help. Like there's not much buzz about it, which is
Uh,
sad because it's really solid.
for Spider-Man fans in general, there's a lot of buzz, but I guess in general audiences that don't know much about comic book heroes, there probably isn't.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Like everybody goes out to see Avengers stuff, but like you don't know how much actual like crossover that has with like just hey, this is one random character from that, right? Plus, we just had like two sets of Spider-Man movies. Maybe people are just burnt out a little. It
Yeah,
could be, which that's not this movie's fault. It's just what are you gonna do? It's real life.
yeah.
Um, as for me, like I saw the Tobey Maguire ones, but like it's been a really long time. I remember them being solid. Like I was never fully blown away. Like even like Spider-Man 2, where everybody's like, "Oh, it's amazing." I'm like, "Yeah, it's okay."
Well, Spider-Man 2,
As
Tobey Maguire is the best of those three movies.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. Like it's been a really long time. Like I was never super impressed when I first saw it, but I haven't watched it in a long time. As for like the Garfield ones, like I didn't see those. I heard they were okay at best. Like the weird thing is like that complaint with like Electro. It's like, what the hell is this? This isn't a Spider-Man villain. I'm like, yeah, it's not a Spider-Man villain. I saw clips of that fight. I'm like, holy shit, this would make an awesome fucking fight effect for a writer show. But that's not really helping Spider-Man. Um, so as for this movie, yeah, it's actually pretty good. Like it didn't blow me away, but it's really, really solid for a first movie.
Yeah. And he's supposed to be back for Infinity War.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the next one he's in. It should be interesting. Okay. Did you want to say something, right?
Uh, well, were you gonna move on to talking about the Tom Holland's portrayal of Spider-Man, because that's what I want
Yeah,
to talk about.
that's pretty much. Go ahead.
Uh, so to put it simply, Tobey Maguire made a good Peter Parker and an okay Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield made a good Spider-Man and an okay Peter Parker. Tom Holland nails
He's amazing.
both roles, like dead on. It is jaw-dropping how good he is at both.
Yeah, he just really is good.
Yeah, I'm like, if you need a showcase of how good he is at portraying both parts, like just watch his like little vlog session in like the hotel room where he's just like, "Holy shit, I'm here," and it's just like, he's portraying this kid and stuff, and like Happy comes to the door and he just backflips halfway across the room and opens the door like nothing. I'm like, holy shit, this kid
Yeah,
is like perfect Spider-Man because like he encapsulates both sides so well. And like when he's doing one side, like you don't expect the Spider-Man side. When you see the Spider-Man side, like you kind of forget that, like, oh yeah, he's just a kid. Until like, you kind of pause for a second. It's like, holy shit, like this high school kid's gonna get his ass killed doing this crazy shit. But you're supposed to feel like that for a Spider-Man movie. You're not supposed to, like, he's a little inexperienced and stuff, this Spider-Man, but the acting is solid.
he
It,
truly is.
even like in his appearance in Civil War, where he just keeps talking throughout the fight to the point where his opponents are getting annoyed by it. And
I know.
he's just doing the Spider-Man thing of like talking so that they're like starting to focus on his words a bit while he uses the action to back up his words.
Yeah. I kind of love how it's like, oh, this must be your first real fight. Like normally there isn't this much talking. Like, yeah, that's pretty much how Spider-Man would throw down.
Yeah.
Bucky throws something at him and he's like, "Hey, you dropped this," as he just tosses it back.
Yeah, I know. I love how he like catches his arm. It's like, holy shit, you have a metal arm. That's so cool. I was like, yeah, that's awesome.
Hey, you guys
Um,
remember that really old movie, The Empire Strikes
Oh
Back?
god,
Jesus, Tony, how old is this guy?
I don't. Hey man, I don't carbon date them. That was so solid. Also, what's really funny is because like Disney owns Marvel, and like, this is a joint production with Sony and
It's actually
Marvel.
not really a joint. Well, it is a joint, but it's actually Disney makes none of the proceeds from this film. The deal is they get merchandising like they always have, but all the money they got, that all the profits from this film go directly to Sony. Uh, and so Disney gets no money for any of the Marvel stuff, MCU stuff being in there. Just like Sony didn't get any money from Spider-Man being in Civil War.
Well, Disney made sure that this version of Spider-Man is a Star Wars fan because one of his
Yes.
shelves in his room is just lined with Star Wars figures.
It really is. It's just like what?
I mean, it makes
But that's actually
sense.
one of the two credits, like at the end. It's Star Wars merchandise, and we may or may not get to Ferris Bueller. Is clips of Ferris Bueller in the movie.
Oh yeah, when he's running through the hedges. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, it makes sense because like originally, like he is a geek, but when Spider-Man was originally created, that word didn't basically exist, or not that much. Like he was more just a science nerd, which kind of makes sense. But like Spider-Man, I mean, like Star Wars existed after Spider-Man was created. Like if Spider-Man was created today, he would have Star Wars merchandise in his room. You know?
At one point in the movie, he's also wearing a shirt that references The Big Bang Theory.
Oh, okay. So
I
that's
also really see. I think one of my favorite parts about this movie is not actually in the movie, but is it's not an origin story.
Right, they just, because like, okay, people know the origin at this point. Let's just summarize it in one scene.
So many times. You can only kill Ben so many times.
also, it wouldn't really. Yeah, I think people are sick of the origin thing. Plus, like Uncle Ben's gonna be a lot younger. I mean, not like super young, but like a lot younger. But it also kind of makes like Aunt May a better character because she's like, yeah, I'm just your aunt, not your holy shit, I'm your super tragic aunt and
Well,
responsibility.
actually,
I mean,
he does
Very much
reference
fun.
the Uncle Ben's death by saying something about like after everything that Aunt May has been through.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I know it happened, but like without showing that, like, yeah, it skips the origin, which is good because like everybody gets it, and also lets like Aunt May be more of a character than just the tragic widow of Uncle Ben.
I mean,
You know,
her best scene may be the very last scene in a way.
I that was also brilliant because it's like, all right, it's really stupid that Aunt May doesn't figure it out, especially this younger Aunt May. So like, all right, we're just gonna let her figure it out. Plus, like the way she figures it out kind of makes sense because like Spider-Man screws up, which also leads into reflects that like yeah, the Spider-Man's still growing. He does tend to make stupid mistakes
He makes
because
a ton of mistakes in this movie, and it's brilliant.
yeah, it's great. I mean, it's great for this movie. This better have less mistakes going forward because goddamn man,
But
it's kind of like a train wreck half the time.
at
Um,
the end there, she only sees him wearing the suit. Like he could just say it's a costume.
yeah,
Well, she's
I was,
yeah, true.
but I hope he doesn't because that's stupid. I also like that we're like, all right, if he tells her the truth, we know exactly how this conversation is gonna go, and it's gonna be stupid and whiny, and nobody wants to fucking listen to that because we know at the end, the next movie starts, he's still gonna be Spider-Man. So it's like, yeah, just reveal it at the end, and then in the intervening time, they had to talk, and then next movie happens, everything's cool, because like nobody wants to fucking sit through that like a millionth time, right? Like it constantly
Right.
happens in Flash, and I'm like, can we not give like fuck off? I'm so sick of seeing this.
Uh, Going back to the origin story thing, it's actually very fitting that they don't actually just do it here, because back in Spider-Man's first appearance in the Amazing Fantasy series, uh, he was just already Spider-Man. Like it just kicks off, and he's just kind of upset because he's trying to be a hero, but he's having trouble with it, and his uncle had just died, and he's going through a lot. So it's actually very fitting that they don't do an origin story because his first appearance, he was already Spider-Man. Guys,
Have we said enough about Tom Holland right now?
Yeah, I was just gonna move on to talking about this. Like, what did you think of the design and like the
It was
Iron
exciting.
Manning
of
tech
of the
that like
suit.
got put into it? Yeah,
Yeah.
like what did you think of this suit compared to like some of the other designs, or how much like Stark tech's in it? Like, what
It's
did
a
you think of that?
$multi-million suit, which is, I think, said a couple times throughout the film.
I love it. I love that it's a bit more modern. Yeah, let's modernize Spider-Man. Have Tony Stark build a suit as a reason for it to have a few more gimmicks to it. Spider-Man is classic. He can do a lot with just slinging webs, but let's give him just a bit more than that. I like this high-tech suit idea. I also like that they went with one of the classic red and blue designs. Uh, Go on.
I mean, for the first movie, they're probably just gonna go with the classic. As for like, I'm kind of okay with it, but they sort of overdid it a little bit. 500 options, like seriously. I mean, I get it. All the ones
It's a
they
joke.
reference, yeah, all the ones that they reference are the ones like all the crazy shit that he's pulled off over the years. So like, it makes sense that he's done in the comics or the shows or whatever. But like it's a little much because I'm like, you should have saved that for Iron Spider because like that's clearly the suit at
Which
the end.
was in there.
Yeah,
Which was
yeah,
awesome.
it's the upgraded suit. I'm like, it would have made more sense for that. But like, then the other problem is like, you gave it an AI, and I'm like, it's okay, sort of, because like Spider-Man just monologues to himself all the time. At least now he has a reason to. but I'm like I would have been okay
Karen.
without it, but I don't hate it.
Plankton's wife.
I get it.
What? Sorry.
He named his suit voice Karen, which is also the name of Plankton's wife.
Oh, okay. That's funny. What I was gonna say. Okay, so you brought the wife thing. So Tony Stark's AI Jarvis, like, yeah, that's his wife, like real life actor and actress. So that's also kind of funny. Also, wasn't like Tony Stark's like one of his AI is called Karen? Like, I know it said Friday on the thing, but yeah, okay, they're different. Like the mannerisms are different, so it's not the same AI. But like, yeah, that's weird. As for the suit, like the eyes are great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love how it has like different colors. It's like, oh, instant kill mode. It goes like red eyes. Like,
Whoa! No insta kill.
I love how like animated like his body action, like really good suit acting. You know,
It's
which is
really.
weird.
Oh, gone.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's a really fine detail whenever like he like you can tell he's squinting because the eyes will actually like change shape and size and stuff. Like the black outlines will get bigger to show that he's like squinting a bit and stuff. It's really fine detail.
We do need to talk about the most amazing mode in the whole movie. Advanced interrogation mode.
The fucking Batman voice.
Oh, it's great. I love how they do it and they shoot it down immediately.
You've never done this before, have you?
That scene
shut
was
up.
great too. Like, I love how he's like afterwards, like, that's stupid. Never activate that mode again. Which comes back to like, man, the mode names are hilarious but super condescending.
Advanced combat mode. Advanced reconnaissance mode.
No. I meant like, oh, it's this protocol and this protocol, and it's like there's such condescending
Training wheels, baby monitor.
protocol. The fucking
that,
baby
yeah.
monitor. Oh, I love it's like, oh, playback last day, and it's just like, wait, you record everything? Yeah, it's called baby monitor, where it's like, and then it's like, okay, whatever, just play back the last day, and it's just him doing impressions of the Avengers with the helmet on.
And she actually compliments him.
It's like, they're really cute. I'm like, they're really funny. I was like, that's really sweet, but I'm like, you're an AI. You're programmed to say that.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can tell that she was programmed to boost his confidence. Good job, Peter. You're 98% successful. 98
Yeah, that was.
falls the fuck apart on him.
Yeah, that was good. So I think we do need to push this along, and I think it's time to talk about the villain.
I actually have one more input.
Okay, go ahead.
So the suit that they show at the end,
The Iron Spider sight.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the suit that he wears in the Civil War arc in the comics, and that was actually the original design for the suit for him to wear in the Civil War movie. But they decided, no, this is his first appearance in this universe. It's got to be classic red and blue.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, that was the right decision. I mean, it doesn't look exactly like the Iron Spider in the comics because it's just red and gold. And
There are
it
a
just
few
straight up looks
liberties.
like Iron Man.
I love his his shitty self-made suit.
Oh god.
Because it's clearly based off of the Scarlet Spider suit design.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
From the 90s. Ben
I
Reilly's
will-
one.
Look up a photo of it for you while you move on to the next topic.
Okay, see, I was thinking that, but I was like, okay, we put the shitty suit because
Got
people
it.
are like, oh, can't Spider-Man do anything
Yeah, I see that. I
without,
can see that.
without the tech suit? And it's like, yeah, he can. But then we put this shitty suit, then you're like, oh god, we need the new suit
Well,
back. This is horrible.
The shitty suit made one of the best scenes in the movie.
Yeah,
Which is when
yeah.
he's trapped under the building, and he looks down into the water, and half of that mask is visible, and it's like half of it is his face, and half of it is the other face. And you just hear Teddy go, If you're nothing without the suit, you shouldn't have it. It may
Yeah,
be
those
the
are.
very best scene in the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is the Ben Riley suit, Scarlet Spider. His like shitty self-made suit is clearly like an homage to this with the blue jacket and stuff.
yeah, which sucks because Ben. I mean, I actually like the Scarlet Spider's design, but
It's a
whatever.
good one. It's not as good as Spider Gwen, but
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really good Spider-Man design. But yeah, as for him being trapped under like the rubble, that was a pretty good reference to what is it like Spider-Man 133 or whatever, where he's trapped under that metal. Like he's in the sewers and he's trapped under like a metal door or something. It's like
yeah,
circular. Yeah, that's
it
a pretty
was
good reference.
very much like an homage to that.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about the villain, and then
Michael
we'll do.
Keaton.
Yeah, and then we'll do the minor characters later. Um, right. Michael Keaton. First he was Batman, then he was Birdman, now he's Vulture.
Uh, he was amazing in this film.
He
You
was
actually
so
saw a
good.
bit of Beetle. There was a moment when you see a bit of Beetlejuice at the stoplight.
Really? That's awesome.
Well, no, it's like at the stoplight when he realizes Peter is Spider-Man. He's just grinning from ear to ear. I'm like, that's Beetlejuice.
Yeah, I didn't think of that, but that fits so perfectly.
Well, it's because he was Beetlejuice, so.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Um, right. So, I mean, I also kind of like his outfit, which is super understated because, like, the Vulture is this like green suit, whereas in this, it's just a tech suit with green highlights, and like the Vulture like feather detail is just a bomber jacket.
Hey, I thought
I
that
know.
was a nice touch actually. It gets the
It's
point
very-
across
Yeah.
without being flashy.
And
I know,
It,
it
it
makes
fits
so
along
much
with the
sense.
aesthetic of the MCU, which is very, for the most part, is very techy and not mystical. If you get to like the mystical stuff, but Vulture isn't.
Yeah,
I
Vulture
don't
isn't even
see
mystical.
why he would be mystical here. It's
Yeah,
like
plus-
very few of the
Hell,
Plus it
the
makes sense.
Spider-Man
Yeah,
fit
go
into
ahead.
that mystical point of view.
hell, even the Shocker in this movie is just a guy with a power gauntlet.
I mean, he had a gun before, then he gets a power thing. I mean, at least the first Shocker, yeah, which is weird because there's two Shockers. At least the first one kind of had like the Shocker outfit, that yellow thing. And then he got
And then he got
So you
killed
got-
with the anti-gravity gun.
yeah, the anti-gravity gun. That's such a great thing because it's like the Vulture just shoots a Shocker and like it's like
this
oh
was the
shit,
anti-gravity gun.
gravity gun, and like the Tinkerer is like no, that's over there. It's like it's
So this
great.
makes me wonder, what was your plan, assuming that was the anti-gravity gun?
I know, right?
Right, I was assuming he's just gonna smack him around a lot. Like just make him unconscious, then just drop his body off somewhere. It's like a warning. Also, like the way he's like, oh well, he's dead. I'm pretty sure the Vulture's killed somebody before at this point. Which was interesting. Plus, like everybody there is like, well, that just happened.
Well,
You know.
Have to get back to work.
yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
I know.
much. Well, back to work.
Yeah, he was an asshole. Nobody cares. Which I'm like, yeah, that's okay, but like, you just killed off one of the minor reoccurring villains of Spider-Man. Like, I mean, maybe it should have had more fanfare, but like, the minor villains tend to constantly get killed off or beaten up without much fanfare in the MCU, so I guess it makes sense.
I do like that they chose to make the Vulture the villain of this movie. He was one of the very first Spider-Man villains.
And he
And
never really had a cinematic appearance.
I was gonna say, like, he hasn't really gotten any love before, so it was good to see something for him. And this was a pretty good appearance.
Yeah, he was supposed to be the villain in Spider-Man 3, and then a lot of executive meddling fucked that up pretty hard.
Well, supposedly there's something about the fact that Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2 did like 70 million worse than Guardians.
Oh no, I meant the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3. But yeah, like... Anyway, who cares about the past? So, Vulture Suit, what did you think of it?
Oh, it was amazing.
I like it.
I was okay with it. Like, the thing is, like, we have repulsor tech. Clearly, this is stolen, like, alien tech and Stark tech and all that crap. So I'm like, why does it have VTOL circular propeller things? Like, it doesn't.
Because it looks cool.
No, it doesn't. It looks lame.
Because
It looks cool.
It would have been cooler if they just left like the wing segments. It would look more like the Vulture because it looks like bird wings without these circle stupid things sticking on it. I don't like it.
all of the
I
stolen
mean, like
tech
I like this.
can like, be...
I like the.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Go on.
Yeah, I like the suit mostly. I just don't like that part.
Like, all of the stolen tech in this movie is stuff from previous movies. So I'm sure if you go back, you can figure out, like, okay, so this is actually the piece that he uses to make his wings.
Yeah, I mean, like Shocker's whole like gauntlet thing, isn't that from like Crossbones from like Captain America: Civil War or something?
Possibly.
Or no, or like I know there's a pretty big reference, like one of the weapons or something. is from
So one of the
But-
bank robbers has this telekinetic gun or whatever, and the center piece that seems to be powering it is the device that Loki used back in the first Avenger movie to tear a guy's eyeball out.
Oh wow, I didn't even realize that. That's pretty.
Neither did I. I watched a video that explained it.
Cool. Yeah, I know, that's what I was saying. Like I kind of missed most of this without.
Somebody
You know,
picked
like
this
Easter egg
apart.
video. I mean, good for. I mean, that's the one good thing of doing this slightly late is like, hey, somebody's already done the hard work. um, yeah, like I kind of like how his suit is like low key. It's just for flying in and stuff, and like it's not super colorful or insanely detailed. It's because like yeah, it's built to fucking lie low key. They don't want like the Avengers or anybody showing up. And like they've been using it for like 8 years and like upgrading it. That's why it's like, you know, it looks like it's built to be modded. Like it's not like one solid advanced tech thing.
Yeah. The scene at the prom was kind of disturbing in a way. Or homecoming. I'm sorry. At the homecoming dance when he just stops in the car.
Yeah,
What
that's
do
one
we
hell of a
say?
bad
You know,
shot.
I just saved your life. What do you do? She's like, oh, okay, that's not creepy at all.
As if meeting her dad wasn't awkward enough.
I know, right? Like it wasn't bad enough. That also goes into one of the things where it's like, okay, did anybody think Liz's dad was the Vulture? Like, I mean, they put a lot of clues here and there, so I kind of figured it
I
out.
hear there were a lot of people at work saying, yeah, I called it.
Yeah, I called it too.
I didn't,
But, like-
to the point where when the guy first answered the door, I didn't realize it was him at first, and I thought that Peter was just shitting his pants because he was meeting a father. And then I figured it out, and I was like, oh, wow.
Well, now that's your problem.
I mean, like, it makes sense for like Peter Parker to be super nervous, so yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, we kind of called it was the Vulture, because like they make a lot of reference, like, hey, I used to fight cowboys and Indians or whatever when I was a kid. Now they draw the Avengers, so it's like, you know, he has a kid. And like later on, like when his guys show up and it's like, hey, isn't it wouldn't the boss be surprised if he knew where we were? So it's like, because it's his daughter's high school and things like that. So they like lay hints here and there. I mean, he gets like a call from her, but is that after we reveal it or before? Whatever. Um, yeah. I mean, like there was enough hints, I think, for it to be figured out. But um, yeah, we've talked about the appearance and all that. What did you think of like his motivations? And then we'll talk about like his actions throughout the movie
His
as the second
motivation
part.
was understandable, but kind of sleazy, bad, but understandable still.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to describe it. It wasn't any kind of tragic backstory, but at the same time, it didn't need to be. He was just a guy that's like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm tired of playing by the rules. Let's actually make some money here.
Okay, and Drago in the chat's like Kane's better than Ben Riley. I'm like, all right, man. Everybody's got their Spider-Man. That's why we had Spider-Verse.
Yeah, mine's Peter Parker.
I don't know. I kind of like Ben, but
I will have something to say about Miles Morales later.
Oh, yeah. I cannot wait for that PS4 game.
PS4. Okay. I don't. They said he's not gonna have that big of a part, or he's not gonna.
Later. We're still talking about the Vulture.
Cool. Yeah, Vulture. Like his backstory, like him being sleazy, sort of kind of makes sense because he's like, it's sort of it escalates basically where it's like he's just trying to get by and then like his company basically just gets fucking swept under the rug, like his contract, because Tony Stark, Tony does a good thing, which is like, hey, I made this mess, I'm gonna help clean it up, but it hurts the contractors who's working there, and like he's not trying to be like a gritty asshole, he's more like, look at these big shots, like they did all this horrible shit. Now when they're on top, they don't give a crap about us. And like, so if I steal this piece of tech, nobody's gonna give two shits because that's how the world works. So it's fine, and it shows that it escalates as it goes along. Like that's what it seems like. Like it starts out them like just stealing tech, but then it just gets worse and worse because like, once you get used to a thing, it's hard to give it up. Okay. And then, so now I guess we'll just talk about like his actions throughout the movie. What did you think of that, considering he's the main villain and all?
So he starts off by, he gets gypped. And he's upset. He punches a guy. And then he starts building tech to steal more tech. Yeah.
He tries to drown Spider-Man. I mean, like, probably not intentionally, but...
Yeah, he probably just wanted to knock him the fuck off. As for, like, him building tech, I think the Tinkerer built the tech, he's just using it.
I feel like his figuring out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man was a little him jumping to conclusions. It did not really feel like a very natural, like, discovery for me. Like, you're really making this conclusion based off of this evidence?
Yeah, true.
I mean, it was a little far-fetched, but you gotta remember, it's like a fucking superhero movie. Like, you gotta get from point A to point B somehow. Like, we do this type of shit in Writer and Tokusatsu all the time, so I'm a little more okay with it. As for him figuring out, it kind of makes sense because, like, he just thinks that, like, all the times, Spider-Man's fucked over his plans, and, like, he knows where he's been and stuff, like the tower and stuff, and, like, it's a little suspicious that this kid keeps ending up in the same spot. Plus, he had that insane, like...
His daughter was in all those same spots. Does that make his daughter Spider-Man?
No, but that helped with putting it down, because it's like, oh, Spider-Man went to fucking DC this one time, and he saved his daughter, so he had to be somebody close enough to his daughter. And
That
like,
still could have been anyone on that field trip.
yeah, I know, but anybody else on that field trip wouldn't have basically ripped Vulture's arm off with a fucking handshake. Because he enters, the thing is like one hell of a handshake there, because Peter isn't super concentrating, so he just like squeezes it super hard, I guess. So like the Vulture is like, all right, this kid's stronger than he looks, and then he's like, okay, so if Spider-Man could have been anybody on that field trip, eliminate everybody who was in the elevator. That's not Spider-Man, right?
Right.
Right. That leaves like two people,
Michelle
and him.
But that's
And
if you're
obviously it's-
limiting your search to that specific field trip.
I mean, you gotta limit it to something, right? Like, he operates in Queens. This high school is in Queens. Or, yeah, the point is, like, Spider-Man's operations is limited to, like, a specific area of New York. Yeah, like, him figuring it out was a little quick, but, like, it's feasible. Also, like, he just threw out a thing. It's like, hey, are you Spider-Man? Like, and Peter Parker reacted, like, super weird. And so that just confirmed it. So, like, I'm not sure he was, like, 100% sure, but he's like, there's something going on with this kid. Or, even if he didn't know Spider-Man, or if he wasn't Spider-Man, he could have said, like, hey, Spider-Man's your friend, right? So, like, he could have used Peter somehow. And, like, saying a superhero is your friend is, like, the number one thing of saying, yeah, okay, that's actually my identity. Like, anybody would jump to that conclusion, usually.
Yeah. You got anything else to say about Vulture?
I mean, like, it's interesting fight-wise because, like, you don't normally see, like, okay, considering he fought, like, Green Goblin was a very, like, grounded fight for Spider-Man, considering, he can swing webs and Green Goblin can fly. Like, even when he fought, like, Harry, when he became, like, Hobgoblin, Green Goblin 2, whatever. It's fucking weird. Spider-Man 3 has too many
The
characters.
Greener Goblin.
yeah, without a mask. Okay. Right. And then, but this time, like, they're fighting in the fucking air in, like, a helicopter, in, like, a plane, and, like, on a freaking truck, and, like, getting dropped in, like, the ocean, basically. And it's like, yeah, that's not something you usually see with Spider-Man. So that was interesting. Like, he facilitated a lot of very interesting shots. So I was kind of okay with that. It also showcases that, like, this Spider-Man is really kind of learning how to do his job, because goddamn, anybody with half a brain would not have taken on the Vulture in a fight when he's flying. Two, taking him out and fart on an airplane. The smart move would have been to either stop him before he gets to the plane, or let the damn plane and then stop him. I mean, like, or the plane ended up crashing because, like, it's a learning experience. He better not fuck up like this again. But, like, I can kind of let it slide because, like, he's just starting out. I mean, unless you guys have anything else to talk about the fights.
Fights were cool. Why did I think there was something? There was a lot of very kind of obvious CG, but I didn't mind it because he was much more, pardon the pun, animated in this film. His relationship with Tony, I don't think we ever talked on this. We should have.
I mean, we'll get to it right after this.
Yeah, okay. I didn't have anything.
Yeah, I mean, like the fights were okay. They're a little dark and a little muddy, but otherwise they're fine. I mean, like CGI can only do so much. You gotta learn to cut corners somewhere.
Spider-Man moves exactly like he should in this movie, and I just love it. Both in and out of combat.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Like his powers don't turn off when he takes off the costume, right? So
Yeah,
he's like so much more acrobatic in this than any of the other movies. It's like, oh right,
he's just
yeah, like
always fluid.
yeah, he's just that guy. Like he sees nobody's watching and he just like jumps over that fence
Yeah.
outside of school. I'm like, holy shit. I also love like when he's making his like early on. It's like, hey, you're that Spider-Man. Oh, I've seen you on YouTube. Hey, do a flip, and he just does that flip. I'm like, ah, it's great.
And now
Oh man.
when he's just eating the churro, he has his fit mask pulled up enough to have his mouth out. Like he does that in the comics all the time.
It was a sandwich. He mentioned it true, but it was a sandwich.
Sorry.
Yeah, fine, what?
But I just like that, like, he did the mask pull-up thing that he does from the comics all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I also like that how he's like, oh man, why did I tell Tony about the churro? Like Tony later on talks about, hey, why can't you be friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, like saving that lady who gave you that churro or whatever.
Should we get to talking about the side characters in Tony?
Yeah.
Okay, Tony was amazing. He
Yeah.
wasn't quite there. See, I miss Iron Man being there more. Just because Robert Downey Jr. does such an amazing job. I mean, just straight up end of the movie, you really screwed the preach on this one. But you did the responsible thing. You took it to the clinic and you raised the hybrid babies. And it's just like I'm sitting there in the theater with my mother to the side of me, and she's just going, no, nope. And it's just like, what is going on here? I love it.
Yeah, it was great. He's actually a lot more underplayed than I thought he was gonna be. Like, you
Yeah,
would think he would have a bigger part. Like the trailers, like the scenes from the damn trailers and teasers aren't even in this movie.
Yeah, it
Well,
shows
some
a
of them.
shot of Spidey swinging with Iron Man flying next to him, and we weren't even supposed to see that because it's not in the movie.
I still
Yeah,
think
or-
it worked.
It's more like a proof of concept now. I'm like, yeah, I got the concept across, but
Maybe that's footage
it's-
from Infinity War. 'Cause
Probably
we do-
not.
Well, we do know there
No, I
is
don't
some
think so.
footage out there. It was shown at the D23 Expo this last weekend.
oh, okay.
I love.
mean,
Sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I love how Tony is trying to be like a father figure to Peter in this movie.
Doesn't
Yeah.
always work, but close enough.
I mean, the thing is, he's figuring it out. He's not the most responsible guy in the world. He tends to overreact to shit, but it's good to see he's trying. I also like that speech where it's like, oh, the first time, like Tony, what the fuck? He was in India or something, and it's like, oh, thank God it has Wi-Fi. I'm like, yeah, you better hope it has Wi-Fi.
And then there was just at the very beginning, him in the car. We should make an alibi video. Hey, May, what's up? What you wearing? Hope it's something skimpy. You're so like, Tony.
So awkward, Tony. And he even comments on that.
I do think Tony's best moment in the movie is after the ferry.
Yeah, when
Peter
he's like,
just goes,
"Hey, you can't even be bothered to be here," and he just steps out of the suit. I'm like, "Holy shit!"
That
was
actually
amazing.
got
was
me,
the
and I
only
saw the trailer.
Oh,
It's
I
like,
need to see
I
that.
was the only one who believed in you. I got the FBI here. I didn't. Peter's like, I wanted to be like you. He's like, I wanted you to be better than me. And it's
Ah,
just like, oh,
That was
man.
great. That's just like that's the whole dynamic of Spider-Man and Iron Man now. I
I
mean, in this universe, it's fucking amazing.
I do know which point we have to end off Tony at. Are we ready to end off Tony?
Yeah, he was great. His had less stuff than I thought he would, but everything he had,
We
like the
do need
suit,
to
was
discuss
interesting.
We do need to discuss an actress who hasn't been in the MCU for quite a while.
Yep, let's get to that.
Gwyneth Paltrow is back for about 2 minutes.
Yeah, so I was actually baffled when Pepper was on screen. I was like, what the fuck? She's
What
still
is she doing here?
she's still in this franchise? I thought she walked.
I'm like,
Yeah, that's what I thought
what
too.
are
But I'm
you-
like, it doesn't even make sense. But I'm like, okay, how do you convince someone to go away from like fucking Iron Man to just show up in Spider-Man? I'm like,
I
it
don't.
can't
I
be the
love
money.
that scene.
You just can't. Like, you could back up a truck of money, but like, she was already making that and she walked, so it doesn't make sense. Yeah, whatever.
let's see.
At least
I'm
she's
look-
back. That was awesome. I mean, what do you think happened at that press conference? Because it was straight up like, "Hey, I'm gonna announce the new Avenger."
Well,
he
no,
decides
I
to
don't think
decline.
he. I think he just told them there's going to be a big announcement.
No, I know that part, but like, and then like, do you think he actually used the ring?
Probably.
I would assume so.
It's a little weird though. In the comics, Pepper marries Happy.
Yeah. But I'm like, we've set up this Tony and Pepper thing for too long to
Yeah.
go down that road.
God, I was just so confused when she walked out of that door. Like, what are you doing here?
I know, right? Did you enter the wrong?
Like,
I'm
were
like,
you getting?
so-
Were you in wardrobe back there? Is that what that is? Did you
Yeah, like,
accidentally
I'm-
walk on stage?
Okay, like the only way this could, like, it doesn't make sense. Like, I'm like, Sony has money, but not that much money. Marvel has a lot of money. I still don't think they would convince her to show up unless somehow, like, the CEO of Sony somehow convinced her to come on. But I'm like, I doubt it. Or
So,
production,
Here's where Pepper.
or she had like another movie with Sony, and they're like, contract, you have to show up.
Iron Man. She was in Iron Man. She was in Iron Man 2.
Hmm.
She was in the Avengers. She was.
Was she in the Avengers?
If she was, it
Uh,
was a very short
No,
appearance.
she wasn't. She wasn't in Avengers.
So I don't remember her being in there.
I'm looking at IMDb. She was in Avengers.
Okay,
Must
sure.
have been a short appearance.
Yeah. She was in Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
She was
And now she's in
not.
this one.
She was not in Civil War though.
Yeah, now she's in this one. She's been name dropped several times.
You know what the
But-
worst part is? Iron Man 3 set her up to be rescue, and then she walked. I was like, fucking hell.
I know,
It
right?
would have been so amazing. Whatever. Anyway,
So other side characters that matter.
yeah, let's
Uh,
just do Happy because we're doing the Iron Man trilogy. I mean,
He was comic relief. That's what he was.
yeah, I would like. It's a good thing that the director of Iron Man will cast himself as Happy because now he gets to make a paycheck of just showing up as
Wait.
Happy.
Was that the director of Iron Man?
Yes, it's the first one.
Oh my god. The birth of the MCU.
He did a good job.
I still can't believe the MCU is almost 10 years old.
I've been holding on to this
Yeah.
since 2008.
I
I got
know,
that. I
like-
got that right away. Like, the first Iron Man movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think most people did.
He did a
Anyway.
good job. Like, he was just a guy that was overworked. He was tired, and here's the rising superstar Spider-Man trying to like be like, "Hey, when am I in though?" He's like, "I don't have
I know,
time
that's great.
for ladies that buy you churros."
Wow. Okay. Yeah, he was pretty. Like, he was spot on because it's like, yeah, that's exactly how it acts. I also love that like Spider-Man's just calling him constantly, updating him. It's like, come on, man. Like, when's the call?
And texting.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess that's those three. They're pretty awesome.
What's her name? What was her name?
Liz?
Michelle or Liz or Aunt
There we
May.
are, Liz.
Yeah, I was
Liz-
actually super happy to see Liz, Spider-Man's first love interest, actually be his first love interest.
And now she's gone to Oregon.
From the comics.
Well, yeah, she always had like in the comics she had a short-lived appearance, so it was just nice to actually see her on set.
Yeah, so she was cool. She didn't do much except be a pretty face.
I mean, I'm actually kind of impressed that like she's not the standard just pretty girl because she's like super nice, even though Peter constantly fucks up around her.
I know.
I was
right?
like, oh my god, like you're giving Peter like way more leeway. Like she never gets
you feel
angry with
bad
him.
for
I'm
her.
like,
She must have
I know.
had some interest in him to keep like looking at him after all that stuff.
I mean,
Okay.
to be fair, she thinks he's
I
super
do
smart.
think she was a bit mad at him after he stood her up at the dance. Just great.
Of
I mean,
course
yeah,
she
which
was.
makes sense.
She was pissed. She just also was moving to Oregon, so she was super sad about that.
Because there's nothing in Oregon. I'm sorry to anybody listening who may be in Oregon, but there's nothing there. Your state
No,
sucks.
it's not that she was sad that she was moving to Oregon. It's that she was sad that she
Because
had to like
she's moving.
move away because her father was in jail.
Yeah, that sucks.
I
I
don't
mean,
think
like,
She
there's
is
anything
not
to
going to
say
be
about-
okay.
she's.
there-
I mean, she might be, but it'll take a while. But yeah, I'm actually kind of impressed how chill and level-headed of a character she is, because like that is not what you expect a standard love interest to be. Because goddamn, Mary Jane is super whiny and fucking in the Tobey Maguire ones. And I'm like, all right, I can see your point of view, but like Liz is so much more like, yeah, she barely has anything to do because like she's related to so many characters and things, but like she did a good job acting. She was a cool character. That's fine. Okay.
Okay, before we get to the next character, I did have to do a little Google search.
Okay.
My Google search was, is Mary a common nickname for Michelle? We talk about the new MJ next.
Oh, okay. I
Yes.
was gonna go with Ned, but let's go with that.
We're talking
So
about the girls.
I was shocked to find that Michelle was Mary Jane at the end. Like, oh,
Okay, they don't say Mary Jane, they say MJ.
right.
Yeah, 'cause
I'm just.
Mary, nowhere can I see Mary is not a nickname for Michelle.
I guess they just wanted
Yeah,
to
it's
step
not.
away from the name Mary.
Well, no, it's because she's not. She's Michelle Jones, not Mary Jane. So
She's still
she's like-
MJ.
yeah, I know.
She-
but, like,
she's
different-
still
totally different. brand.
Mary Jane. She's just not named that.
I mean, like, really, if they wanted to, I don't think they're gonna do it. Like, they could put like normal MJ in, but I don't
She
think.
gave
they
him
will.
the look
No.
and she's MJ.
Yeah, I
For
get it.
no reason.
They literally
What they did.
call her MJ at the end to get the point across that she is Mary Jane.
And,
She
And
just
they-
has a different name.
and then
I
she gives him
know,
a look.
I'm just saying.
She gives him a look, which is not warranted for any reason.
She
But
also
gives him a
flips him off.
Oh, yeah, at the dance, I'm like, oh, that was great.
Like out of nowhere
that's
too.
totally-
She had no reason to do that. She just felt like it.
No, that's how a character like that would roll. I'm cool with it. Come on, man, haven't you seen shit like that? I've seen shit like that.
Do we have
Alright.
anything else to say about her?
Yeah. As for her, like, like just like the last part where like, she's talking to Peter before she leaves, and she's like, whatever, I don't really care. I'm like, that is such bullshit, and it's an insane amount to set up for the next movie.
Yeah.
So she's basically gonna figure out who Peter is, I mean, the Peter is
Now,
Spider-Man. Like,
are we thinking next movie is Infinity War or the sequel to Homecoming?
See, based on their schedule,
like,
it's probably going to be Infinity War, but I would love it if they managed to pull out another Spider-Man movie before that.
It's not going
I
to be
don't think
before it.
they
It's
will.
after it. We do have a schedule. We do have a timeline for the next 15 Marvel.
I mean, the thing is, like, Infinity War could be set in the future. Yeah, I don't think so.
I doubt they'll do that.
But yeah, I mean, Spider-Man 2, I think, is when she's gonna. I don't think Infinity War has time for, like, maybe they're not gonna put in secondary characters to like figure out Peter's,
Infinity War is
identity,
not
just
going to
like
be
just-
about Spider-Man.
Okay,
yeah,
you ready?
basically.
You ready for this?
Okay.
So the next 8 Marvel movies: Thor Ragnarok, November 3rd; Black Panther, February 16th, 2018; Infinity War, May 4th, 2018; Ant-Man and the Wasp, July 6th, 2018; Captain Marvel, March 8th, 2019; Untitled Avengers film, formerly known as Infinity War Part 2, but they dropped that name, and Infinity War is now a standalone, but it's still probably going to be the wrap-up of Infinity War, is May 3rd, 2019. Untitled Spider-Man Homecoming sequel is July 5th, 2019, and Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is TBA for release date.
Okay, so
that
the last Infinity Stone I thought was going to get introduced in Guardians 3, but I guess not.
no, it's gonna be at the beginning of Infinity War, I think.
Alright, so Adam's just going to get his shit wrecked during Infinity War. Got it.
Well, part 2 maybe. Yeah, that's weird. Guardians is so far back. I was like, what? Reintroducing Nova? Like, but I don't think so. Like, unless the. Are we doing a show with what is it? New Warriors or what?
Inhumans is coming.
Well, I know Inhumans, but there's like this squad of young, low-level heroes, and Nova was part of it and stuff.
The Defenders?
The what?
The Defenders are the
Yeah.
Netflix guys.
No, not those guys.
If not, then we don't have anything planned for Nova.
I thought they were making a series for that or something, but whatever.
Not that I know.
Right. Let's just keep going. Right. Actually, no, Michelle. Like, definitely different than Mary Jane. Like, standard character stuff. Almost a little stalkerish, but like, I don't think she's meant to be taken that way. Super snarky, which like I guess some people could consider annoying if you're not attuned to that humor or like her point of view.
I thought she was great.
Yeah, she's pretty awesome personally, but like some people, humor's subjective, so it's fine.
Are we ready for Ned?
Yeah, let's get
The man in the chair? This guy who works at Point in the library?
Okay, that is not what was happening, but yeah.
Nah, he's a porn
I just had to
addict.
say it. I
So-
had to say it.
Okay.
So Ned is actually like a really good idea because it's easier when your hero has someone to bounce ideas off of. So just having one of Spider-Man's friends know that he's Spider-Man really helped the movie's pacing with him being able to talk about like, yeah, so this Vulture guy just tried to fucking drown me last night.
Yeah,
Him finding out about that was amazing.
I love the shot of Ned just wearing the Spider-Man mask.
Yeah, that's great. He just wakes up. I was like, yeah, that's cool. I also like that, like the costume expands and shrinks, so like you wouldn't even question.
Ned
You
actually
wouldn't even question.
seems
Yeah,
to be
go ahead.
based off of a character, pretty much the same character from the Ultimate Spider-Man, which is Miles Morales'
Miles.
best friend.
Well, the thing is, like, Peter Parker's had like two characters in like high school in the comics. Like, one was Liz and one was Ned. So like, technically, you could just update Ned.
But
yeah, you're right.
yeah,
It's more
his
like
role
a
seems to be
mixture of
yeah
yeah. Go ahead.
that guy, Miles Morales' best friend, who plays a similar role.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, they fucking invented Robin for a reason, right? Like, you could be the greatest hero and all, but like, it's real fucking hard to tell your story if you can't bounce ideas off people or just talk to them. Um, so yeah, it's good to have this character. I mean, like, he was pretty fun, and like, I did not see that fucking web shooter scene coming. Like, the second Shocker is about to fucking like end Spider-Man. That was a good moment.
Yeah, Ned was just amazing overall.
I love how like at first he's like egging on Spider-Man. Alright, dude, I could be like, what does he say?
You're
Like,
man in the chair, man in the chair.
yeah, I was more like Guardian, whatever. And then Spider-Man, like, he's just doing that. And Spider-Man's like, no, 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 no. And then when he actually needs them, it's like, oh fuck. Because like then Spider-Man turns it back on, and I'm like, oh, that was a pretty good moment too. But yeah, he's pretty fun. Like, he had a lot of screen time. Like, I was not expecting that, but like the actor did a really good job, so it was fine.
I actually look forward to seeing more Ned in the next Spider-Man movie.
Yeah. Yes. Just please. Give me the Ned.
Okay. Okay. Right. Let's just do. Yeah. All right. Like, who else is left? Like, there's Flash and Aunt May, I think.
And there's one other person, but I want to save him for after we do our thoughts and wraps.
Oh yes,
wrap-ups.
yes. Okay. So what did you think of Flash? I guess because
He was an asshole, like he needed to be.
It was a good shot at DC.
What?
Shut up.
Oh.
If Flash, it doesn't matter if you're the fastest if you're always wrong.
I do wonder if that was a reference or if it was just.
I'm pretty sure that was just Go on.
I think that was just a joke to explain his nickname.
Yeah.
I also heard like a lot of people complain. It's like, oh, he's not much of a bully, or bully. He doesn't have like the look for it. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
He was literally getting everyone to call it, say, Penis Parker at a party. How is he not a bully?
That's what I'm saying, right? Like,
who is defending this guy?
Not defending him. It's more like they're saying, like, they're used to the older Flashes where it's more of like a physical threat, whereas this Flash is more of the standard, like, current bullying, or like most people are they're just assholes who have either like, are physically better or rich or both, or are just dicks, and that's basically what he is. I mean, I also like his introduction where it's like it's in the gym and he just like, you see them doing the challenge and he just like slides down the rope, so it's like, oh, okay, he is physically built, he just doesn't look like it. But yeah, it's more that he's like a social asshole to Peter, which makes sense. And then let's just go to Aunt May. What did you think?
She was fun.
She's a good aunt.
Different. Oh, she
loves Peter.
Yeah. I mean, like, at first I was like, oh, she's young, but I'm like, it's not like she's Peter's mom or her grandmother, so she doesn't have to be that old. So it was fine. It's also like she fits so well.
She does.
Right. So I kind of want to see, like, I want to see her do more, or just more stuff with it. Like, It's a good character if you're like, yeah, I want more, because it'd be interesting going forward because she knows his secret. I also kind of like that moment where it's like she's super mad at Peter, but then and Peter's like, oh, I lost the internship, and then she just changes tune to like comfort him. I'm like, that was such a good moment. Anything else?
Okay.
Nah, there's not much
No.
to say about Aunt May other than she's great.
Yeah.
I mean, if we want, let's just talk about the minor villains. Done.
They were cool. I don't have anything else to say about them.
I do.
Alright.
Uh, So I actually legit forget his name. The guy that Spider-Man like webbed to the trunk of his car to interrogate him.
Yeah, the Prowler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and how he's gone.
Yeah, he's the comic book character Prowler. Like when Karen's doing like bringing up his rap sheet and stuff. I guess it says like Prowler, and that's like his comic book name.
Exactly.
And then I guess you're gonna go from here. So go.
Yeah,
ahead.
he is in the Ultimate Spider-Man. He is Miles Morales' uncle, and in this movie, he does mention that he has a young nephew.
Nefu?
Yeah, nephew.
Okay. Yeah.
So that
He
is
says like he lives in this neighborhood, and I don't want guns here. So yeah, that's a pretty good setup.
So yeah, Miles Morales confirmed to be in this version in some way, even if he's not
Yeah.
a Spider-Man right now.
Aaron
Yeah.
Davis. Yeah, he's the Prowler. I have no idea who that means, but he is. Now, my question is, who's Donald Glover?
He's a comedian.
Oh,
I mean, he does acting too. He's pretty awesome. Yeah, like what's weird is like the timeline for this, and the timeline for this is weird.
wait a second. Hold up a second. So I
Okay.
went to his IMDb page.
Yeah.
He's the character in Ultimate Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
He's Miles Morales in Ultimate Spider-Man.
What?
No.
He is. Yes. Donald Glover is Miles Morales in the Disney XD show Ultimate Spider-Man.
Oh,
when they did their
that's
Spider-Verse
cool.
arc.
He's the voice actor.
Yeah.
That's
Oh. Oh wow.
That's pretty awesome.
Sorry, I had to.
Yeah.
stop for a
It's
second.
a good
Just
tidbit. Shit, where was I
I'm
going with
sorry.
this? Oh, right. I remember. Right. So like the timeline kind of got like a little changed around with like when Avengers happens and this movie happens. Like the weirdest thing is all this just because they had to do the hey look, Peter Parker was that little kid who stood up to what was that all was that Spider-Man or no. Was that Avengers 2 or Iron Man 2 when he
That had to have been Iron Man 2 because Avengers 2 was too soon.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I was like, come on, man, just for that stupid scene.
I mean, how old is Peter in this movie?
He's 15.
Okay, so it can reasonably have been 7 years.
Yeah, it's just Avengers, which takes place like close to Iron Man 2, happened in 2012.
Okay, so here's the thing.
So the thing is like, yeah,
They immediately
Avengers-
say it has been 8 years since Avengers. So
yeah, which means Avengers happened in 2009.
it is no longer a one. Well, no, it is no longer a 1-to-1 on our time and the movie timeline like it used to be.
It's like 2020. Which
Yeah.
is weird.
This Spider-Man movie is actually taking place in the future.
Is it?
Yes.
Which is weird considering this is supposed to happen like right after Civil War.
Yeah.
And I think that's supposed to be pretty soon.
So yeah, the timeline is a little skewed.
I mean, wait. This movie's supposed to be taking place in 2020.
See, we have the
I don't
Avengers
think so.
took place in 2012, and then it says 8 years later.
No. We're moving Avengers back to 2009.
No, you
And
can't
this-
because Iron Man 1 took place in 2008 because they reference that.
No, I know, but because to make the timeline fit better, they're actually moving Avengers back. They're not moving Spider-Man forward.
Wait, this is actually what they're doing?
Yeah. That's how the official timeline I think goes
So
now. Like Avengers got moved back, Spider-Man didn't get moved forward because
so the
otherwise
first two
Infinity
Spider-Man
War would
Where's the
movies,
Google?
the first
otherwise
two Iron
Infinity
Man
War
movies
would
rather
work.
take place within a year of each other.
Yeah, pretty much.
Huh. I guess that kind
it
of makes sense.
because yeah, Iron Man 1 is such a short story, like it could just take place within
Two
like a
does
month or
pick
so.
up like in a good spot for it to have been like less than a month since the last one left off, where it's like, okay, so you have this superhuman suit technology. What the shit?
Yeah, pretty much. And then like Avengers, I mean not Avengers, Iron Man 3 is right after Avengers, so like that makes sense too. So like yeah, they're pretty close. The point is Avengers got moved back in time than when it actually came out. Like it's before 2012. And then like Spider-Man stays where it is, and like first Iron Man stays where it is. I think that's what's happening. Like I think the only thing that moved is Avengers. Everything else stays where it is. Um yeah, because like everything else doesn't hinge on a timeline that much. It's just like this happens and then this happens, where it's like Avengers, because they did the 8 years thing. Yeah, they had to move it. Oh well.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Like fuck, we're used to messed up continuities. Ryder does it all. Like like literally X8. Oh, this movie came out when? Who knows? Oh, that's right. It came out before Christmas. Why? Because that's the only place it can fit in this damn timeline. Whatever. Yeah, anyway. That's Toei, and that's a whole different story, and this is Marvel. So, I think we've talked about everyone else.
So wrap up.
Yeah, let's just wrap it up. Your overall thoughts with this movie?
Uh, this is probably the best Spider-Man movie I've actually seen. I'm a big fan of Spider-Man. I haven't read too much of the comics, but I really want to get more into them. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more of where this Spider-Man goes, especially with Tom Holland.
Yeah, agreed. It's real fun. The scene at the Washington Monument was fun. Just everything. The designs are cool. Iron Man was fun to be there.
Yeah, it's a really solid movie. I wish it like didn't drop off because it kind of actually deserves money. But like it's fine. It'll make enough. It'll get a
Yeah.
sequel definitely.
I'm thinking of going
Uh,
back and seeing it again.
And so this is my second time.
Cool. Um, it's really solid. Like it's also a very like Spider-Man is still learning. Like the next Spider-Man movie, like he cannot mess up this hard because like okay, I
After the
from
next
rec-
Spider-Man movie, when we get to the next Spider-Man movie, he'll have fought with Cap. He'll have done this whole movie. He'll have been in the Infinity War.
well
I don't think it's gonna
yeah,
happen.
I was kind of getting at like hey he drives out to like the more suburbs and he tries to web something and he realizes he just shot webbing into the sky and it's hitting nothing.
I'm
um,
sad that he didn't say, "Oh, so it only goes so long," because Ned had asked that question. I'm like, dang it, you missed it, an opportunity.
Sorry, man. Um, um, my other thing is like, okay, with the gameplay from the Spider-Man PS4 game and
hype.
this movie, yes, and this movie, I like normally I never see what the fuck Jameson's about in like the other movies, but in this, after seeing those two, I'm like, okay, I kind of see his point of view. Spider-Man's slightly a menace. Like that Spider-Man for the PS4, holy shit, man! That like
right.
carnage from that chase. Plus, in this, like, did Spider-Man just steal a car? Like, didn't
He
you like
did.
web a semi-convicted criminal to a hood because like, oh, you're a criminal, I can't let you go. And they'll teach you a lesson. I'm like, Spider-Man, you just stole a car by the end of this movie, right? Like, plus you couldn't drive. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, you better knock that shit off. Like, I let it fly one time for this movie, but like not the next time. Like, it's a bad precedent. Like, people get lazy and it gets to the point it's like, oh, I'm the hero, therefore anything I do is good. Like, that's not cool, man. I don't think they're gonna do that, but like, yeah, it worked for this movie. I'm not gonna let it slide for another movie. But otherwise, it's really solid.
I don't think
Okay.
they're gonna do it again.
We do need to talk about one last thing.
What?
Okay.
His name is Captain America. His 3 appearances in this film
Yep.
were he was in the gym class at the pre-recorded
Yeah,
tape,
Yep.
Plus the best.
the detention tape, and
Yeah, that was
the best after credit scene in a Marvel movie ever.
okay. I haven't. Whatever.
Wait.
Oh, the total trolling.
Yes.
Yes. I love how he's in the
Sometimes
Avengers.
it's like sometimes you got to learn that patience is the most valuable virtue. Even though you sit and wait so long and then amounts to absolutely nothing. And I'm just going, no, you did not. See,
Yeah.
I work in a movie theater and I'm taken to watching the audience when that scene goes on, just to see everybody's reactions.
And then when he asks, like, how many more of these? I like to imagine that was just the actor.
Chris Evans.
That was
Yeah.
Chris Evans just being like, how many more of these? You're not even paying me for this.
Well, I'm sure they had to pay
I
him.
mean, he's definitely.
I'm
getting paid,
joking, but yeah.
Yeah. Captain America.
totally.
Would.
Yeah.
Also, I kind of like that he's wearing Avengers wine uniform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this guy is a convicted war criminal now.
Oh god, that
Through
was
crack
the best
curriculum.
slide.
That was a good
Yeah,
reference
but-
to Civil War, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was. I totally love how he's like, yeah, I think he's like a war criminal or something, but like, I'm obligated by law to show you these. I was like, holy shit, man, like, way to fucking undersell, undercut all of Captain America's words right there.
I do think that that's all I have to say about this movie.
Yeah, me too. Solid movie. Go see it if you haven't. Definitely worthy of a sequel. Like this, Tom Holland's a really good Spider-Man. Like fucking everybody was great in this.
Like, 9 out of 10 movie.
Solid 9
Yeah.
out of 10.
Same for me.
Thanks for listening to us talk about Spider-Man.
For an hour and a half.
We'll be back next week with our regular Japanese programming.
And not me, because I'm super behind on those.
Maybe you can catch up by the time X8 ends.
That
You better.
Or you can just start
Oh.
over with Build.
was the plan.
Okay, whatever. Thanks everyone for sticking by and listening to us ramble. If you're interested in watching, more stuff than just standard tokusatsu or just the Toei tokusatsu stuff, let us know in the comments and we'll see if we can make it happen. Good night.
Why?
Bye.